What's up guys, and hopefully what's up Sledgehammer Games as well. Today I wanted to make a video giving some feedback on Call of Duty World War II based off of the first weekend of the beta. For the sake of everyone's time, I'm going to try to keep this as short and simple as possible so we can maybe actually get some changes made. I have roughly 4 suggestions coming from this beta, all of which I feel are pretty unbiased. They're just objective things that would help improve the game. And on top of that, I feel like these additions or changes I'm going to suggest are actually really easy to do. They're really just small things that in the long run would really help improve this game. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to go in order from least difficult to do to probably most difficult, and I do have one suggestion that I feel like would be a huge game changer, but we'll get there when we get there. The first suggestion I have is better visibility for your active party. A huge part of the Call of Duty formula and what's been present in pretty much every COD game we've seen is that the game is fast and fluid. And I'm not just talking about the gameplay, I'm also talking about the map load times, the matchmaking itself, and also inviting your friends into your game. All of these things have been staples of Call of Duty games, but the party system for this game is kind of slow. This game is not quite as simple as just clicking Y or triangle and then being able to invite your friends and then you see them in your game. There's a lot more inputs. You have to change from your current menu and go to social, then you have to go to party, and then you have to invite them. And I typically found that when you're waiting for your friends, you like to go back to your divisions and make your classes and stuff, and then when you want to see if they're actually there, you have to go all the way back. It's not like this is really a huge deal, but it does waste time. And every single day I was logging onto this beta and playing with my friends, this was a complaint every single time. I feel like there's a very simple solution to this, and that would be just having some kind of indicator of how big your party is somewhere on the UI, and you would be able to see that no matter what tab you're on. Something like a number indicator, or even being able to see exactly who's in your party would be very helpful, without having to navigate to the social tab and then the party tab as well. If you don't have any friends, or if you were just playing this beta solo, you probably didn't notice this issue. But yeah, I think it's a pretty simple problem to address. It's a time waster that doesn't seem as frustrating because we're playing during a limited time beta, but I think over the course of the year, if this is how we have to invite our friends, it's going to get very old very quickly. It just feels like it kind of regresses and steps back from what the other games could offer, and it doesn't really improve much. So please take a look into that. My second suggestion for this game would be to add a field of view slider on console. And in fairness, I'm going to provide 2 reasons as to why I think this would be helpful, and 2 reasons as to why I think it might not work. The first reason I think it would be nice to add to the game is presentation. To put it simply, if you're watching gameplay of any video game and you see it at a wider field of view, it just has more appeal. And that is a little bit more subjective and a matter of opinion, but generally speaking, people like to see wider field of views when they're watching streams and YouTube videos. It just makes the game look nice. And the second reason is that it can actually enhance gameplay. The more narrow your field of view is, the less spatial awareness you have, but as you expand that, you actually get to see more of the map, and potentially more enemies and teammates around you. I can tell you from playing PC games that having a wider field of view is definitely a huge benefit, and it looks really cool. So that's my take on it. But there are some counter arguments for that. My first guess as to why I don't think console Call of Duty has a field of view slider is because they need to be able to differentiate console gameplay from PC gameplay. And I don't think they want people getting confused. I don't really have a lot of evidence to support that, but I'm just throwing it out there. But I think my second guess is more accurate. If you play at a wider field of view, you might experience more performance issues, specifically FPS problems. Every time you increase your field of view, you have to increase the render distance because it has to load more of the map. It has to load more of the textures and assets. So there's a possibility that both PS4 and Xbox One cannot handle loading this. And I think we don't have a field of view slider because they just want to keep the experience very simple and casual and not really overburden anyone with too many options. But if you do want that, go play PC. But when competing games like Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 both have field of view sliders on console, I think it's time to catch up. So here's my solution for this. If you wouldn't have to sacrifice anything for having a field of view slider on console, go for it. Definitely add it into the console versions of the game. But if it's a matter of performance and stability, then we might as well just not have it. But I just wanted to throw that out there. My third suggestion is one that Sledgehammer Games is probably tired of hearing, but I'm putting it out there anyway because I did not see this on the list of things that they're going to address going into the second weekend of the beta, which I think we all know is the kill feed. It goes way too fast. So obviously the simple solution is to just slow it down a little bit. I think if it's somewhere around the speed of MWR, I think we'd be fine. But if they want to make it a tad bit faster than that, then that's cool too. But generally speaking, I think it needs to be slowed down just a bit. And I have a good reasoning for it. If you guys keep the kill feed how it currently is and how fast it is, it's going to discourage players from wanting to spend a lot of time going for clips and feeds and stuff like that. I consider that group of the Call of Duty community to be very enthusiastic about the game. And trust me, you do not want to kill their vibe. You do not want to keep them from wanting to invest a lot of time into this game. But if you simply don't care, or if you don't care about montages, let me tell you this. If this game has some kind of 9v9 mode, the kill feed is going to be useless. If you guys don't remember, in Sledgehammer Games' last game, Advanced Warfare, the kill feed was super slow at the start. When it was first released, the kill feed would stay on screen for like 20 to 30 seconds. And from that feedback, they eventually ended up speeding up the kill feed, but now in this game, it looks like they've gone a little too far. So much to the point that the kill feed's almost useless. You can't even really access that information. It's pushing everything out of the feed so fast that you can't even really register what just happened. And that's something you have to be very careful about. The kill feed is a direct indicator of what's happening in the match. And I just imagine that if you're playing Ground War and if stuff's constantly happening in the kill feed and it's getting knocked out, you're not really going to know what's going on. There has to be a healthy medium. If the kill feed is showing for too long, it's going to be showing outdated information. And if it's going too fast, you're not going to be able to actually see what's going on. So if it comes to finding something in the middle that would strike a healthy balance, I think the solution would be to just kind of copy MWR's kill feed. It seems to work, no one really complains about it, and I think that would be your best bet. That way you don't have to constantly hear us complaining about it. But before I get to my final easy suggestion, I want to throw out a huge game-changing idea. And this is still going to pertain to the kill feed. The spark for this idea initially came with the release of Call of Duty Ghosts. And that's because this was the first COD game to put the kill feed in the top right of the screen. And a lot of people in the COD community, myself included, did not like that. When I saw that happen, I was like, man, I just wish I could move the kill feed to the bottom left. And aside from Advanced Warfare's slow kill feed that eventually ended up getting being patched, I don't think anyone's really been talking about the kill feed in Call of Duty since this beta. And because of this, it's actually inspired a huge idea. Kill feed customization. Give us, the players, the ability to move the kill feed where we want to. Let us change the size of it, let us change the color of the kill feed, maybe even the font, and obviously the duration of the kill feed. If you want it to stay up for 30 seconds, you could do that, and if you want it to stay up for just 1 second, or maybe not have it at all, you could do that. The more options we have as players, the better the game will be. I also want to add that Battlefield 1 did something pretty awesome with their kill feed, which was allowing you to exclude certain information from the kill feed. In BF1, you can have the default kill feed, you can show just your kills, you can show just your party or squad's kills, you can show kills in your proximity. Having all of those options is awesome. When I go back to play Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, and Bad Company 2, I miss the fact that I can't change those settings, because they don't exist. I think giving players full control and full customization of the kill feed would be a huge innovation for COD. But like I said before, this is not a simple solution, this is actually a very complex one. I don't think it's a realistic expectation to have for this year's COD, or maybe even the next one, but please consider this idea. Sledgehammer said that this is the best game they've worked on and the best game they've ever made, and I think the way to do that is to have unique standout features that can't be found in other video games. Again, I don't think it's possible for this year's COD, but maybe we could see it at some point. But yeah, my fourth and final suggestion is something that's kind of unexpected, but I don't want this to be a problem like it was in Black Ops 3. And this one might just be a little bit biased, a little bit personal, but I felt like the flinch was just a little too strong. I do want to say first and foremost that if there's going to be some kind of attachment or a division perk or a basic training that allows you to reduce flinch in the full game, then completely disregard this. But if there's not going to be anything that reduces flinch in the game, then please consider this. Black Ops 3 had a consistent, cheap, and frustrating problem with view kick headshots with high caliber. So let me just give you the scenario. In this beta, I could be in a head-on-head gunfight with someone and I could have the faster reaction time and I could shoot them first. And when that person gets shot, their aim might go from like your stomach or your chest up to your head, and they might be able to kill you in 1 or 2 shots if they're using high cal. This is something that I found to be very consistently frustrating with Black Ops 3, and I really hope this game does not suffer from that. I feel like it wasn't really that big of a deal during this beta because people were mostly using SMGs, but please do not make the same mistake as Black Ops 3, and please do something to make sure that there's not like these frustrating gunfights. Again, I don't think flinch is a huge problem, but it does need to get pulled back a little bit or have some kind of counter perk. The flinch just needs to be at a point where it's not like a reproducible problem or exploit that people will abuse. So yeah, just to recap my ideas, we have better visibility for your active party, field of view slider on console, improvements to the kill feed, and improvements to flinching. I think everything I've suggested here is pretty unbiased and reasonable and something that can actually be changed or added to the full game when it's released. And I can promise you that the community and I will thank you if you guys can actually act on these changes. But yeah, that's my feedback for Call of Duty World War II. If you agree with anything that I said in this video, make sure to tweet this to Sledgehammer Games, Michael Condrey, Glenn Schofield, and anyone else who works at Sledgehammer that might have a chance of seeing this and actually making some improvements. If you guys weren't around the channel when I was making Advanced Warfare videos, then you wouldn't have seen this video I made about gun game when they first added it. I made a detailed video about suggestions for gun game and Advanced Warfare, and they actually made some of those changes. So please, if you agree with anything that I said, make sure to like this video and make sure to send it to them as well. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did and you're excited for weekend 2 of the beta, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you guys later.